The Cessna T-37 Tweet is a small, economical twin-engine jet trainer attack-type aircraft which flew for decades as a primary trainer for the United States Air Force and in the air forces of several other nations. The A-37 Dragonfly variant served in the light attack role during the Vietnam War and continues to serve in the air forces of several South American nations. The T-37 served as the U.S. Air Force's primary pilot training vehicle for over 52 years after its first flight. After completing primary in the Tweet, students moved on to other advanced Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps or Allied trainers. With a total of 1,269 Cessna T-37s built, the USAF retired its last T-37 in 2009. Development Origins The Cessna Aircraft Company of Wichita, Kansas provided the United States Army during World War II and the Korean War with utility, light transport, and observation aircraft, particularly the O-1 Bird Dog series. In the spring of 1952, the United States Air Force issued a request for proposals for a trainer experimental program, specifying a lightweight two-seat basic trainer for introducing USAF cadets to jet aircraft. Cessna responded to the TX request with a twin-jet design with side-by-side seating. The USAF liked the Cessna design, which was given the company designation Model 318, and the side-by-side seating since it let the student and instructor interact more closely than with tandem seating. In the spring of 1954, the USAF awarded Cessna a contract for 3 prototypes of the Model 318, and a contract for a single static test aircraft. The Air Force designated the type as XT-37. The XT-37 had a low straight wing, with the engines buried in the wing roots, a clamshell-type canopy hinged to open vertically to the rear, a control layout similar to that of contemporary operational USAF aircraft, ejection seats, and tricycle landing gear with a wide track of 14 feet. It first flew on October 12, 1954. The wide track and a steerable nose wheel made the aircraft easy to handle on the ground, and the short landing gear avoided the need for access ladders and service stands. The aircraft was designed to be simple to maintain, with more than 100 access panels and doors. An experienced ground crew could change an engine in about a half hour. The XT-37 was aerodynamically clean, so much so that a speed brake was fitted behind the nose wheel doors to help increase drag for landing and for use in other phases of flight. Since the short landing gear placed the engine air intakes close to the ground, screens pivoted over the intakes from underneath when the landing gear was extended, to prevent foreign object damage. The XT-37 was fitted with 2 Continental Teledyne J69T9 turbojet engines, French Turbo Mika Marlboro copyright engines built under license, with 920 pound-forces thrust each. The engines had thrust attenuators to allow them to remain spooled up during landing approach, permitting shorter landings while still allowing the aircraft to easily make another go-around in case something went wrong. Empty weight of the XT-37 was 5,000 pounds. Tests showed the XT-37 had a maximum speed of 390 miles per hour at altitude, with a range of 935 miles. The aircraft was unpressurized, and so limited to a ceiling of 25,000 feet by USAF regulations. The initial prototype crashed during spin tests. Later prototypes had new features to improve handling, including long strakes along the nose, and an extensively redesigned and enlarged tail. After these modifications, the USAF found the aircraft acceptable to their needs, and ordered it into production as the T-37A. Production aircraft remained tricky in recovering from a spin. The recovery procedure was complex compared with most aircraft. Production The production T-37A was similar to the XT-37 prototypes, except for minor changes to fix problems revealed by the flight test program. The first T-37A was completed in September 1955 and flew later that year. The T-37A was very noisy, even by the standards of jet aircraft. The intake of air into its small turbojets emitted a high-pitched shriek that led some to describe the trainer as a screaming Mimi, and it was referred to as the 6,000-pound dog whistle, or converter. The piercing whistle quickly gave the T-37 its name, Tweety Bird, or just Tweet. The Air Force spent a lot of time and money soundproofing buildings at bases where the T-37 was stationed, and ear protection remains mandatory for all personnel when near an operating aircraft. The Air Force ordered 444 T-37s, with the last produced in 1959. In 1957, the U.S. Army evaluated 3 T-37s for battlefield observation and other combat support roles, but eventually procured the Grumman OV-1 Mohawk instead. The Air Force liked the T-37A, but considered it to be underpowered. Consequently, they ordered an improved version, the T-37B, with uprated J69 T25 engines. The new engines provided about 10% more thrust and were more reliable. Improved avionics were also specified for the new variant. A total of 552 newly built T-37Bs were constructed through 1973. All surviving T-37s were eventually upgraded to the T-37B standard as well. Due to a series of accidents caused by bird strikes between 1965 and 1970, all T-37s were later retrofitted with a new windshield made of Lexan polycarbonate plastic 0.5 in thick, which could tolerate the impact of a 4-pound bird at a relative speed of 288 miles per hour. In 1962, Cessna suggested the T-37B as a replacement for the North American F-100 Super Sabre as the primary aircraft for the USAF aerobatic demonstration team, the Thunderbirds, but the USAF was satisfied with the F-100. The T-37A and T-37B had no built-in armament and no stores pylons for external armament. In 1961, Cessna began developing a modest enhancement of the T-37 for use as a weapons trainer. The new variant, the T-37C, was intended for export and could be used for light attack duties if required. The prototype T-37C was a modified T-37B. The primary changes included stronger wings, with a stores pylon under each wing outboard of the main landing gear well. The T-37C could also be fitted with wingtip fuel tanks, each with a capacity of 65 US gal, that could be dropped in an emergency. A computing gun sight and gun camera were added. The T-37C could also be fitted with a reconnaissance camera mounted inside the fuselage. The primary armament of the T-37C was the General Electric multi-purpose pod with a .50 caliber machine gun with 200 rounds, 2 70mm folding fin rockets, and 4 practice bombs. Other stores, such as folding fin rocket pods or Sidewinder air-to-air missiles, could be carried. The changes increased the weight of the T-37C by 1,430 pounds. As the engines were not upgraded, this reduced top speed to 595 km per hour, though the wingtip tanks increased maximum range to 1,770 km. T-37 production ended in 1975. The list of exports above amounts to 273 T-37Cs. Adding this to the 444 T-37s and 552 T-37Bs gives a total of 1,269 aircraft built. Concept aircraft equals. Cessna proposed a number of innovative variants of the Tweet that never went into production. In 1959, Cessna built a prototype of a light jet transport version of the T-37, designated the Cessna Model 407, which was stretched 2 feet to accommodate a 4-place pressurized cockpit with an automobile-type configuration. Only a wooden mock-up of the Model 407 was constructed. The project was cancelled due to insufficient customer interest. The company also proposed a similar 4-place military light transport, the Model 405, with a big clamshell canopy, but it was never built. In response to a United States Navy tandem Navy trainer requirement, Cessna proposed a T-37 with a modified fuselage featuring a tandem cockpit. The Navy selected the North American T-2 Buckeye instead. Cessna proposed various other trainer derivatives for the U.S. Navy and Air Force, including a vertical takeoff version based on the TNT configuration and incorporating lift jet pods in the wings, but none of them reached the prototype stage. Operational history. The T-37A was delivered to the U.S. Air Force beginning in June 1956. The USAF began cadet training in the T-37A during 1957. The first T-37B was delivered in 1959. Instructors and students considered the T-37A a pleasant aircraft to fly. It handled well and was agile and responsive, though it was definitely not overpowered. It was capable of all traditional aerobatic maneuvers. Students intentionally placed the aircraft into a spin as part of their pilot training. The Air Force made several attempts to replace the T-37, but it remained in service with the USAF until it was phased out in favor of the Beechcraft T-6 Texan II between 2001 and 2009. The T-6 is a turboprop aircraft with more power, better fuel efficiency and more modern avionics than the Tweet. The final USAF student training sortie by a T-37B aircraft in the Air Education and Training Command took place on June 17, 2009. The last USAF operator of the T-37B, the 80th Flying Training Wing, flew the sortie from its home station at Shepherd AFB, Texas. The last T-37B was officially retired from active USAF service on July 31, 2009. Variants: XT-37A, two-seat jet trainer prototype aircraft, powered by two Continental YJ-69T9 turbojet engines. Built. T-37A, two-seat basic jet trainer aircraft, powered by two Continental J-69T9 turbojet engines. 534 built. T-37B, two-seat basic jet trainer aircraft, powered by two Continental J-69T25 turbojet engines, fitted with improved navigation and communications equipment. T-37C, two-seat basic jet trainer, light attack aircraft, fitted with two weapons pylons, one under each wing. 269 built. XA-T-37D, two-seat counterinsurgency, light attack prototype aircraft. 2 built. YT-48A, proposed development with two Garrett F-109GA-100 engines. None built. Operators: Colombia, Colombian Air Force Euro-14 aircraft, including 4 T-37BS and 10 T-37CS. Ecuador, Ecuadorian Air Force Euro-10 T-37BS. Pakistan, Pakistan Air Force Euro-63 aircraft, including 24 T-37BS and 39 T-37CS. In 2008, 20 T-37s were delivered that were ordered from the U.S. On October 28, 2015, the Turkish Air Force gave the Pakistan Air Force 34 T-37CS, including spares in an agreement between Turkey and Pakistan. Former operators T-37s, including both new-build and ex-USAF aircraft, was supplied to a number of countries, including Bangladesh. Bangladesh Air Force received total of 12 aircraft from USA. Deal for additional T-37s from Pakistan never transpired, all remaining Cessna T-37 Tweet in reserve at Jessa Air Base under Squadron 15. Retired from active service. Brazil, Brazilian Air Force Euro-65 T-37CS, later passing 30 on to South Korea and 12 on to Paraguay, which were never delivered due to U.S. veto. Burma, Burmese Air Force Euro-12 T-37CS. Chile, Chilean Air Force Euro-32 aircraft, including 20 T-37BS and 12 T-37CS. Both variants were phased out in 1998. Germany, German Air Force Euro-47 T-37BS now retired, superseded by the T-6 Texan II. Greece, Hellenic Air Force Euro-32 aircraft, including 8 T-37BS and 24 T-37CS. Jordan, Royal Jordanian Air Force Euro-15 aircraft, apparently ex-USAF T-37BS. Khmer Republic, Khmer Air Force Euro-24 T-37BS. Portugal, Portuguese Air Force Euro-30 T-37CS, received from 1963, grounded in 1991 and phased out in 1992. Superseded by the Alpha jet. From 1977 to 1991, some of the T-37CS were used by the aerobatic demonstration team Asas de Portugal. Peru, Peruvian Air Force A-32 T-37BS. South Korea, South Korean Air Force originally 25 T-37CS, plus 30 later bought from Brazil. First introduced, June 1973. South Vietnam, Vietnam Air Force A-24 T-37BS. Thailand, Royal Thai Air Force A-16 aircraft, including 10 T-37BS and 6 T-37CS. Turkey, Turkish Air Force A-65 T-37CS. United States, United States Air Force, Vietnam, Vietnam People's Air Force captured ex-South Vietnamese T-37BS. Morocco, Royal Moroccan Air Force A-14 aircraft, received in 1995. Retired from active service. Survivors. Specifications. Data from General Characteristics, Crew, 2, Length, 29 feet 3 inches, Wingspan, 33 feet 91 3 in, Height, 9 feet 2 in, Empty weight, 4,056 pounds, Max takeoff weight, 6,569 pounds, Power plant, 2 Continental Teledyne J69 T25 turbojets, 1,025 pound-forces each. Performance, maximum speed, 425 miles per hour, range, 810 mi, service ceiling, 25,000 feet, armament, total stores stations, none, 2 underwing for stores up to 500 pounds. See also. Related development, Cessna A-37 Dragonfly, aircraft of comparable role, configuration and era, Saab 105, BAC Jet Provost, Boeing Skyfox Canada Court 114 Tutor, Temco TT Pinto, related lists, list of active United States military aircraft, list of military aircraft of the United States. References. Citations Sources Love, Terry. A-37 per-ton 37 Dragonfly. Carrollton, Texas, Squadron Signal Publications, 1991, Taylor, John W. Janes All the World's Aircraft 1965-66. London, Sampson Low, Marston, 1965. The initial version of this article was based on a public domain article from Greg Gerbel's Vector site. External links, official website Cessna History.